Hey guys, I hope you're well. You are live on the Talkwoods with me, Nat Rich, and today we are talking about gangs, specifically in the east of London. I am joined by a couple of guys. I've got another one coming on very shortly who's just sorting himself out. But I'm joined with my friend, Mr. A. How are you, Mr. A, today?
I'm very well. I'm very good, Nat. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
It has been indeed. The last time you were on the show, on the radio show, wasn't it last year, I think, in October?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we
Yeah,
spoke
it
about
was.
a lot of things: lockdown, Black Lives Matter, music
Yeah.
industry, events, everything. It was really cool to speak to you. Actually, we got a lot out of there.
Good. Loved it. And then we also have Kev. And Kev, I met through you. Kev and another guy called Mac, you guys were actually on my first show, weren't you? On my other channel.
It was on. It was a great show as well. How you doing, Nat? How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. Last time you were on, you made me cry a lot. So, and I am known to cry on this show. So I'm just gonna go with it if today. And I know that we've got Raspect on as well very soon, who also has an ability to make me cry, just with the harrowing stories.
Raspect.
Indeed. So the reason I wanted to do this show was because obviously when I did the interview with you guys last time, I was blown away by the things I just didn't know about gang crime, about the situation on the street, the stories, the predicaments, the kind of vibe that takes place out there. Obviously, I see what I see in the press, but that doesn't make it always true. So hearing actually another side of that blew my mind, and I wanted to discuss it because it is a Talkwood. And I think the more people that we have knowing about the situations on the streets, and that we can share this video with some solutions of how people can help and be more aware, that is kind of what I want to raise awareness for. So yeah, I'm going to start with you first, Kev. If you can kind of introduce yourself and explain to the listeners kind of your background and why you do what you do and how you do it, and I'll kind of let you roll with it.
Funny enough, I put up a post today. So I'm Kevin, as you all know, aka Level Gillian. I'm from East London. I'm a martial artist. I used to be a bit of a musician. You know, I've
a bit of a musician. What do you mean? 100%.
Yeah.
What was the bit? What do you mean a bit of a musician?
There was no bit.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that as we progress. We'll definitely get to that.
Okay.
The resume's long. You know, I've been many things in life. But right now I'm just I don't know. I just say I'm trying to be a beacon of hope for the youngers and just, you know, really try to help everyone around me and just spread positive energy. That's what I'm really about. I'm a no one.
You're a no one, but you're doing great things. So tell us what you are doing with the young kids and stuff that you've obviously you were doing some really great charity work last time we spoke. So just go in. This is your chance to shine. You can name drop, you can big yourself up, you can bring your ego to the table. I'm welcoming the whole lot. Go for it.
It's gonna get crazy.
It's gonna get crazy up in here, man. Listen.
You got permission, boast.
Yeah, no, all right, cool. So I'll do a bit of boasting. I don't boast much, but yeah. So my biggest thing is that I teach kids, okay? I take them in from 3 years old, when no one wants to handle their own 3-year-olds. Yeah, I take them in, a whole class of them. So from 3 up until whatever age, 80, 100, million, whatever. But I like to give back to the kids. I like to teach them martial arts because in this day and age that we're living in now, gangs is a thing. They're very, very real and they're very, very dangerous. So to have something like martial arts and be able to give back to the youth, and, you know, I've had messages from students that said, oh, you know what? The 2 boys tried to rob me today. And, you know, they was going around taking people's phones. And then they came to me. And then I've never had to use my martial arts in a real life situation. But it saved my life, Kevin. I have you to thank for it. And do you know what I mean? And I post that on my gram, you know, for people to see. And I'm like, look, because that is the gift, you know what I'm saying, that keeps on giving. The martial arts can be translated to everyday life as well. You can use it in your everyday battle, whether you're having a normal conversation, debate, or whatever. You know, martial arts is translatable in that way. So it's not about violence. I've had some people, you know, say, oh, yeah, you're teaching kids how to be violent. And, you know what I mean? It's not that, okay? It's just It's totally about self-defense. Because when we was little, okay, we had people coming for us and we didn't have self-defense. But we had, you know, we was on fighting. So it's good to now have a proper system that I can give that's safe and useful for anyone to use. And I'm ready to give it to everyone. You know what I mean? It's just, it's gold and it's there to be had. So yeah, that's really what I do in my life. And then, you know, I try to
busy guy.
Yeah, man, that's it. Just take it upon myself to try to feed people, clothe people, you know, just is what it is, man.
Yeah, I think the passion that you have about helping other people is what I find really inspiring. And, you know, it's like we can all look at a black guy walking down the street and judge like we were told that we used to, and with the press and the media and how they are. And they assume that we, you know, we just look at someone and we think one thing. But you guys are changing that, as well as Mac and a few others that you've introduced me to. And I just, you know, I feel that you're so misunderstood. And this isn't necessarily just about a race thing. This is just about a kind of a crime thing in general. It doesn't matter what color you are these days. Crime is caused in many ways. But I think the reasoning why there's so much crime on the street, and the reasoning why the young kids out there are struggling, is because the system is not designed for them to thrive, and they know it. And I think the really important thing is, when we were talking to Raspect, who's going to be coming on shortly, when he finally pops up on air, he's going to go into a little bit more about that. But I know you two he came up a little bit under you, didn't he? So he's now, do you want to kind of explain, before he comes on, do you want to kind of explain who he is to you guys?
I'll let A take this one.
Yeah, so
A take this one.
So as we all went to school in East London in a place called Seven Kings Primary School. I know Raspect's mum very well. I know Kev's mum. He knows my mum. That's how long we go back. I think we knew each other since we was in nursery, which is like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I knew Raspect from the minute he came into my school, and I was in year 1. So he was about 3. Yeah, he'd have been 3 or 4 from the time I know Raspect. Yeah. One thing which we always had, all 3 of us, is that we had this uncontrollable energy. Okay, this energy that teachers knew if you put it in the right path, we would be fantastic. But unfortunately, not many guiders or mentors were even available to us young black boys. So the people that you do see are people.
None, did we?
There was no one that was really coming to, you know, to give advice. And even if we had older brothers, which you would normally call back then, you called them the olders, yeah. Even if they were 1 year older than you, they're still your olders. Same as Raspect, he was like our younger. He was a younger guy than us. He looked up to us, and we were crazy, energetic kids. So that's how we met from primary school. Now, the good thing about where we're at right now is that all 3 of us, okay, this way, yeah, you got Level, myself, Mr. A, aka Aaron, Mr. A Artillery. And I'll tell you why I have 4 names, right? So all 3 of us have come from the same exact place, the same school, same area, same teachings. But the only, you know, connecting factor was our genuine energies. Like all 3 of us we were always born to be leaders. It's just how it was, right? And we've all kind of gone off. Raspect has taken his journey to really get a big voice for the black community and stand up and fight. You know, Level's been on the front line actually coaching and being a mentor for people that we never had an opportunity to get. Like, we were crazy fighting young kids. We never one day had anyone that said, okay, have you thought about using it for self-defense, using it for, you know, your mind, using it for relaxation? No, it was just about, we needed to fight to make sure that we didn't get killed. That's basically the scenario of how it worked. So where we're at now is that of course, I know yourself actually through music. I went off and I just, because we did music back together. That's what we did. That's how we everyone knows us, will know me as Artillery and they'll know him as Level, right? And that was because we would go, we was everywhere in the whole of London or anywhere outside of London, and we were MCs. So we would clash guys. We were battle MCs. That was our main forte. We spent so much of our time investing in clashing guys. We probably should have made more music,
and it made sense because, like you said, we were fighting kids, so we had to be battle MCs.
It was just a natural progression for us, you know, like how we are. It sounds a bit crazy, but we were street warriors, you know, like we didn't really think of it. Well, back then we knew it, but we didn't glorify it. It was just how it was, you know. And that's how we all know each other now. And now, of course, I run my own PR company. Now, the reason why I set up a PR agency is because understanding how a lot of industries people are marginalized by the press, I was like, okay, let me find out how the press works. I'll make my own team and we'll make sure we put the right stories out there to the right people. Breaking down the stigmas, breaking down the stereotypes, breaking down the bullshit, which always just gets printed about anyone. I'm going to make sure we give out the right narrative. And now we've kind of all linked back up together. And like we're big men now, you know, we're no longer 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We're big men now, you know, and that's why it's good that you've invited all 3 of us onto the show to see we're all from the same, like me, him, we're all the same person. But now we all have 3 completely different strands in how we operate our life, but we are still the same exact person. And that's quite nice to see, you know, Raspect's still here and he's still doing his thing.
Yeah,
I love it. He's just such a passionate guy as well. Like, and to be fair, when I spoke to him on the phone the other day, he had the crappiest phone with a different camera, and I couldn't really see his face, but his words, he speaks in a really kind of wise way. He understands quite a lot of, you know, of the reasons into why the world is the way it is, and the reasons to why his life has been the way it is, and he's got full ownership for that, which you guys have as well, which I really appreciate, because you're not coming from a blame culture. You're not coming, I'm going to blame this. You're like, all right, situation's crap. What do we do about it? This is how we get around it. And the ownership that you guys have got, I think, is really important, and what I want people to see. And obviously for young kids, when we share this and it's going to go out, and for the younger generation to see, you know, what they can be doing as well to kind of make a change, because it's got worse on the streets now than it has when you guys were growing up. And
you know what?
Nice.
I know a lot of people, they every year or every other year, I don't know if you agree with me here, yeah, but I do hear, like, okay, a good example, a lady was in her car the other day blaming drill music for violence. Now, I don't know if anyone knows, yeah, if you listen to grime MCs from the year 2000 up until 2010, there is no difference in the lyrical content. Not from him, not from me, not from the guys that was on the radio. So you need to stop trying to blame the music, because the music is not a problem. Music is only what people put out as a evaluation of what they see.
Yeah.
Literally, like you're not just making these things up because you don't know. You're making up because you see it. And what happened in grime, like there was words in grime, there was mud, and there's some mad words in drill. But there's all sorts of music that say all sorts of crazy things, and they are not the reason why everyone's doing crime. For me, the reason why everyone's doing crime and everyone is doing things that they shouldn't be doing is because you grow up, yeah, thinking and being shown that you've only got one option. That is the core reason, and that comes from TV, from your friends, from your teachers, from your school, from every little bit that doesn't really point you in a positive light or give you another avenue of actually I could become this or actually I could become that. No, we're only shown one particular way of living, and that way is continued in drill music. And when drill's gone, there'll be another form of music, and they will blame that music on stabbing and shooting as well. But it's not that. Until you change.
And he's totally right, because all that's changed is the sound.
Yes.
Because when we was coming up, we was having our MC battles. Now we got to remember that we was on the roads, and this was about, okay, the beginning of our journey. So like we're 13, 14.
Yeah, 13, we started writing lyrics.
We're getting
2002.
Yeah.
Just speak up, by the way, guys. People are just saying, just turn your mic up. So just come forward and speak up, but carry on.
Right. So yeah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, but apparently, I don't know if it's Raheel or not. It's RH. That might be Raheel, but somebody just saying, just turn it up a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Okay, let's turn it up for a bit.
Yeah, I've turned it right up. We'll talk louder as well. We'll talk louder.
Yeah, just shout.
Yo, right. So
what you were saying, Kev, go for it.
So remember, we're going out, in our little team, right? And we're about 13, 14. We're little shits, right? Cool. What we're gonna do is that we're gonna go to that area down the road, and we're gonna catch that crew over there, okay? Because they've come on our website, yeah. We used to get what's that called? Moon Fruit,
yeah.
They've come on our website, yeah, and they've left a comment, right? We're not happy. We're going down there to catch them boys, right? So we've gone down there on the bus, whatever. Boom, we've catched them boys, and then what happens is that people start getting heated because they can't take what's being said to them in the MC battles, and then that's when the stabbing starts, and then that's when the fighting starts, and then and then it's the shootings or whatever,
or the kidnappings.
It's no different. So even now, what he's saying about the drill music, no, it's not. It's just not the music, but at the same time, what I will say about the drill music is that there is quite a few guys out there who are doing things to other guys and they're making songs about it. No, this has also been happening, but now it's even worse. Now it's a different scale. Now it's like every song's about.
Yeah, but you do know why it's being showed a lot more. What is the main difference that we had that they've got that we didn't have in 2002 when we started writing? From 2002 to 2010, we had the radio. When I wanted to find out the new hottest track from my newest artist or who had beef with who was, I couldn't just go on my Instagram or go on YouTube and see it directly. I had to go and hear it or speak to people or go to a rave and see it happen. So that kind of the fastness of how beef was getting sorted took a little bit longer, not too long because you kind of knew who you had beef with, But now, and I completely agree with you, is that
it's instant.
It's instant. If I hate someone in Forest Gate now, and we could just get a GoPro, film a little budget video in this house, send it to Link Up, send it to those guys there, it's on tomorrow. Like that's the kind of difference than you'd get before. You know what I mean? That's the difference. It's instant.
It's instant now. Times have changed. We used to get our rucksacks all put in a fiver and buy vinyl. Then go to his house and he'll go in the decks. Right. So now we're all getting our names. So my cousin.
But you know, back then I wasn't a DJ. Back then I only started DJing when I was about 21. Any time before that, I was MC. We used to go to DJ Robbery's house.
Yeah, Robbery's house. But any other time, it was either you.
Yeah, my brother's house. But my brother was a DJ. I let him DJ. I wasn't DJ.
So, like, obviously, like you just said, it's more of a convenience thing. And I know that Respect's trying to get in and out. He just keeps dropping in and out. So once he comes on, I'm going to grab him and we'll carry talking with him. Yeah. But you were saying it's more of an instant thing, and I get that, and I get the vibe, and I get. It comes down to a lot of these guys not knowing how to handle their emotions and not knowing how to communicate, other than just saying the words that they think come straight out of them. And we've all done that when we think something and then it just comes straight out of the mouth. It can get you into a lot of trouble. But now the trouble that we're seeing today is trouble with knives, trouble with, with guns, trouble with getting your head kicked in within like a day. It has a way bigger effect on, when they make music and obviously when they put it out. Can you imagine, or do you know of anything that could reduce, because you're obviously on the streets and you understand, what do you think the main points are that could reduce the impact that they have, or at least it reduce the amount of violence that they can get into? Is there any kind of training or what?
What I'll say is this now. Okay, so basically, when it comes down to the knife bam and the music, right now it sort of goes hand in hand. So. But all that's happened is that it's enhanced over the years. Okay, so when we first started, like I said, MCing and whatnot, and getting to have these battles and getting into fights, so it was more of a fist thing. You know what I mean? But as the years have progressed, now people are pulling out knives. Now, what's happened is that the knife thing has become glamorized within the lyrics as well. So now everyone wants to carry a knife because it's cool, because that's what you're hearing your favorite artist talk about. He's going to go here, even if he's never done it before, but he's just said he's going to go pick up his Rambo and, and he's used a certain word that sounds really, really enticing to your ears. So now that is why we're having these competitions where these kids are trying to see how many people they can stab within a month. Yeah. Because it's turned into a next thing. So then you can put it in the lyric. And now it's about who's the most active person. So it's about deactivating that. Now, how we deactivate that is, like I said before, and it's not going to be easy, but it's about making other things more glamorous. So things like sports, things like music, things like, acting. If these things were more accessible, it
wouldn't be so projected on the music industry and how cool it should be. I get that.
We stopped going youth club, we stopped going youth club. Youth club got taken away from us before we even left school. Yeah, man. Before we even left school. And from then, I heard of no kids going youth club.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think they're scared. Like, I think the media, I think we're always, like me and you, we always talk, don't we, Mr. A, about the media and their role in our environment and how screwed things are, because it's the media that gives the hype that leads people to think that they're not safe to have youth clubs.
Yep.
And then it gets taken away, and then they moan about the violence on the streets. I mean, you can't help but wonder how from top down or from where this has been created, because it's like every decision they've ever made has been designed to screw them in the to screw us.
Because they quit. Yeah, because they quit now. Because you see, the moment that they'll open up a youth club and a kid gets stabbed or rushed outside a youth club, they don't want to pay for it no more.
Yeah,
they want to put an end to it there and then. Nah,
which to me would make me go,
instead of putting protocols in.
Yeah, and I would be an entrepreneur.
What happens when there's a stabbing at a football match now, or there's a stabbing at something else of a gathering of men, or there's a stabbing at a festival, or there's a drugs at a festival? They need to. What you asked is that what can we do to solve this problem going forward? And I think you've got three guests who I think embody what needs to happen. Firstly, with Raspect, he's not here right now, but he is
absolutely. He is. His words. We can't see his video. Hold on 1 second. He is. But this is all we're getting right now.
Okay. I'll just say that the fact that Raspect, his vibe is about talking and opening that conversation so people can educate themselves. Now, back then, there was none of that. There was no kind of awakening or understanding of what was going on. Raspect is in the building.
There you go.
He's there, bro.
But can you move your camera a little bit across so we can see? Like, there you go, like all your face.
Or you sit in the middle. Yeah?
That's perfect. Stay there.
Yeah. So as I said, right, what we can do to try and change the future is firstly education, conversation, and the second thing, fitness. Like as I said, we were fighters, and no one had sat down with us and told us about boxing, grappling, martial arts. Because what that would have done, it would have kept us in the gym and got us fit and get us healthy.
Yeah, because now we was fighting people for fun.
Yeah.
We was looking for people to fight for fun.
It's boredom.
Yeah, Raspect told you, if we couldn't find anyone to fight, we'd meet up, all of us, all 18, 20 of us, whatever, we'll go to the park and we'll fight each other. It will tell you.
Remember the tunnel of death?
Yeah, to the death.
It's just what happened, you know, and no one really gave us any sort of understanding. Hey, use that energy. I was very fortunate that from 14, 15, I started playing football at a good level. Now, I know it right now. There was times I had to leave the guys on a Tuesday, on a Thursday evening, and a Saturday to go play football. Yeah, it was only semi-pro, so it wasn't pro, but it's semi-pro. You have to be dedicated. You can't be late. And that a few hours away and being in an environment where I wasn't number one, where I had to work, I had to be on time. I couldn't.
Yeah, the discipline.
It was like being an army. I was thinking about the other day, being in football, because I was young and it was a white team, played for Romford, but big them up. They showed me love. But it showed me that you got to be disciplined to get what you want out of life. Whereas I said, when we was younger, no one was coming in to give us that discipline. No one was even hinting. It was literally do what you see and hope that you don't die or end up in prison or lose your mind or commit suicide. That was kind of our ultimatums. But luckily enough, with the mindsets that us three have, we didn't want none of that. We was like, no, we're going to evolve and we're going to start coaching and helping and more people. You're like, nah, you know me, because I help people get on radio and TV. Like, I help shape the news and I make sure the narrative is not subjective or wrong to any sort of particular group of people. You know, that's my role. You got Kev again with the kids. He is shaping kids' futures to make sure that they're confident, smart, and healthy. And in Raspect, he is just pumping out the gospel and trying to stimulate that conversation where people are a little bit worried, a little bit scared to even talk about it. But I said, we're doing the right things, or we're trying to do the right things anyway.
No, and I appreciate it. And I just wanted to add, when you said about places when they close down, like if there's a stabbing or a shooting, they think that's a negative. Obviously, it isn't great. And then they're like, right, we've got to close this place down. For me, as an entrepreneur and as someone that thinks creatively and as a business, I'd be like, what else do I need to bring to make sure that doesn't happen again so I can sustain what it is I've built in the first place? Yeah. You know, there's no sustainability in the thinking of our government, in the thinking of our councils, in the thinking of anything. They talk about sustainability, but in the wrong context, because everything that they do is designed to not make anything flourish in the future, because it kills most things and there's no sense of community and vibe. So for me, it feels like there's so many things that need to change that it's almost like we need to come together and forget that there is any kind of support from anyone else, like a government or a council. It's like there is no way that we can look at those institutions now and think that that's what's got to change. It's more like the change has got to come from us, and the change has got to come from the top down, but from the elders down is what the top would be. So what I wanted to do, obviously, is just introduce you a little bit, Ras, just so I can, you can kind of introduce yourself. I don't know what your volume's like there, or the echo a little bit, but I think, so I just want to let people know that I spoke to you yesterday or day before yesterday, and that was for the first time. And these guys introduced me to you, and I felt goosebumps when I was talking to you, because you're very passionate about what you do. You've got your own YouTube channel. You've been on Speaker's Corner. You are going out there and you're willing to have confrontational conversations with people to help them to understand, but to also learn, which I think is valuable. And I just wanted to bring you on and obviously go into a little bit of depth about your background and what it is you feel that we're missing at the moment. So I'll let you kind of run off and do what you do best, which is talking. And you're on mute, but you need to talk.
Very technical difficulties. Thanks for having me on. Thanks to your hosts. You get me? Big up to my OGs, level and artillery. You get me? So love and big up everyone. You get me? Straight love energy I'm sending to everyone listening. You get me? Yeah. So even me, yeah. When I talk about like a gang, yeah, for me, it's like it was just brothers, innit? You know what I'm saying? It's not even a gang in the beginning. Right? No one says, yo, let's make a gang. all that happens is in the area, you're gonna have the youths that are kind of dominant. They think for themselves. No one can't kind of tell them what to do. And that's who the youngers are gravitated to. So me, I was the younger, looking at artillery and level. Now, where we're in like, we got Ilford, which is like sticky, you get me? Manor Park, Forest Gate, where all of them says, so we're seeing the whole black on black or the gang violence over here. But then over here, we got Chadwell Heath and Romford and Gideon Park. So then Brentwood, and so we got racism. Every time we went to a rave in Brentwood, them lot used to start calling us the N-word. Then obviously, because basically we go to Brentwood, man are just raving normal. The girls will flock towards us, man. The man then will start hating. Yeah, then man are calling man all the N-word monkeys. Next thing you know, so, you know, we punched up some youths down there, and we're on the train. We hear sirens, like man are jumping over fences. It wasn't a thing where we said, yeah, we want to do this or do that. We might be in East, and some man from over there, they don't, because we're all linked in it. But sometimes the linking guy might not be there. Let me give you an example. Yeah? Like,
don't go about the linking guy.
Bro. Let me give you an example. Level's a linking guy. So like Level can link up real generals from Forest Gate and real generals from Ilford. Like when Level,
London, man, the connector. That's one thing, is the connector.
Yeah. So when he's fighting in the Troxy, I'm telling you, you got 30 ones from Forest Gate and 30 ones from Ilford, but we're all voting for Level. We just want to get the guy out. Do you know what I'm saying? A man might even had little things in the past, but when we're there, no one's thinking. We're all on the same side. So
you've got that common thread and that common thing to cheer for. You mentioned that the other day, you about like having that common goal.
Yeah, but you got to have guys that level, because when there's not the level there, yeah, and then
it all goes wrong.
and honestly, both of them are the same. The worst thing is they're alike. Both guys that are gonna clash, they're alike. They're the same ignorant. They come from the same broken home. They come from the same thing where they was forced to hustle. They come from the same thing where someone stabbed them in their back so it turned them cold. They went through the same situations that brought them to clashing. But it's like, I always explain it like this, yeah. This is why we have to know the mentality when we leave our house. You know what I'm saying? Because when you leave the house, you got two ways you can go. You could see yourself and you could say, well, God, I'm glad you're good. And he could say, yeah, blood, I'm good. Blessed to your family, and keep it moving. Or you could say, what? Where you from? What do you mean, where am I from?
Yeah.
You pull your thing, but because it's you you're fighting, you know. Remember, it's you. You've seen a version of you, but you're angry on this day. You would end up killing yourself. You would end up killing yourself. So what man have to realize first is it was just brothers. We're all alike. It starts off kind of like a game. It's a bit like a game. Like this one got rushed, that one got rushed. Like even certain things that didn't spiral out, that could have spiraled out. Like I ain't gonna go into specifics, but real things happen. And the other side, they didn't pull out no guns or knives. They were just picking up crates and throwing at us. Picking up chairs, we're throwing it back at them. You get me? It's like it didn't have to go to that next level. And I feel like that's when we're in the safe zone. But all it takes is for one guy to get hit wrong, or someone to do something stupid, and someone to die, and then now it spirals out of control. And that's what you see in a lot of the gang beef that you see now. They see the man them chatting, but they don't see the pain. They don't see that a lot of the drill artists that I've gone to their families' houses where they're 14, 15 and they held their dead friend. They don't see that side of the story, and them, they're not going to show you that side of the story because they got to look strong and tough at all times. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of my brethren, I think Artillery, I was listening before I come in, and I think he said something about like the teachers, and the teachers, they see our greatness, but this is where institutional racism comes in. I'm going to give you a real story now, yeah? You got Chadwell Heath School, yeah? You had a teacher called Mr. Rumble, yeah? He was the head of upper school. He's a fed. He's basically a police officer teacher, yeah? Yeah. That's the head of upper school. The head of lower school now, that's Mr. Wade. He's the best. He was an English teacher. He's probably why I can rap today, because he was an English teacher, but he knew how to show love, and that he's the head teacher now. So now I can go and get a reference. Before Mr. Rumble, I think was the head teacher, so I couldn't get no reference. That's how it was. Head of lower school, he was like Dumbledore. Head of upper school was like Voldemort. That's the best way I can kind of explain it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So then, boom. Now, so that good English teacher led me on to be able to write and articulate myself in a way which has led me to where I'm at now. Now, if I had a bad English teacher, I might not have those skills. Now, the good thing is, on the other side now, because I used to get sent out of my lesson, and the teacher in the withdrawal place couldn't handle me either, because I just be in withdrawal talking. Like, you're not meant to talk, innit? But I'll be talking to the teacher. Like, I didn't know how to follow the rules. I don't know. There was something in me, and especially if it was unjust. If I'd done something wrong, I get it. But sometimes teachers used to pick on me, and when I can clearly see that I'm being picked on, I'm not having it. So they used to send me to Mr. Rumble, and he was a psychology teacher. So in year 7, year 8, year 9, I'm in psychology lessons, but I ain't a dumb youth. You see how most youths, they would have just sat there drawing. I'm listening. And I started to read, I started learning about like sociology and crime leading to poverty leading to crime, and crime leading to violence. Like, and then there was one time when they had a test. Yeah, they was doing their mocks. It's like year 11s and that. I'm a young youth. But I must have just done it because I've been in most of the classes, you get me? And I swear I got something like 95% or something. Like I got a high grade, you know what I'm saying, on just that little mock. So from there, I realized, I kind of understand the psychology of how people think. I think that's how to solve a lot of these issues. For example, when you got artillery, when it comes to the media and the image they put out, the 08 brothers. Remember when we used to call them 08 N-words, 08 brothers. Them 08 man who was born in 08. They wasn't in 07. They wasn't gangster. They was good youths. You would see them. They would say hi. You say hi. In 08, there was like a spree of new guys just trying to be a bad man.
Trying to be bad boys. Yeah, I remember.
The reason why is because in 07, the media was talking about postcode wars. Every night you went home, postcode wars. So then all of these youths listening in their yards and their mum saying, there's postcode wars outside. You know, the youth, they might kill over postcode. Why are you not stop killing over postcode? The youth now going to take up his postcode. What postcode am I, mum? Looks on his letter. But they start saying, yo, man, from that folk, and then we start living out what the media, because there's one guy living it over here. I think it was Bow or something. There was one area where they was doing some postcode malarkey. But the way the media spread it after that one story.
Oh, Hackney, E9,
I remember it being in the papers. I was living in Cali, in the Caledonian Road then.
North London, yeah?
Yeah, in North London. And it went from like you had like the whole of it, like North London, Caledonian Road was one, and then you had Holloway, and then you had Angel. And my friend's 2 kids, and they were coming back and they had the BBs I think it was the BB back then or something like that.
Yeah, Blackberry.
And it was the Blackberry. And it was literally, I remember when the riots started as well. And it was like, everyone was ganging up in their postcodes. And it was really specific. And it was like military coordination, by the way, for anybody who thinks you guys don't know what they're doing, that the military precision of coordination of gangs, shall we say, was like they were running full operations. And I was like, who
was a full operation?
Together, but it was just like, it was just a way of like community, even though it was against another community, the solidarity of each of those groups in that postcode.
Yeah. The thing is that the problem there, right, is not because of the postcode. It's because of us young black boys grew up not having any ownership.
Yes.
You grew up not really knowing what's yours or what you can call yours. You're being told by white guys, you're this, you're that, it's in your country. Some of your teachers ain't really showing you love. So, yes, you're not really getting shown no love by no one. So what do? You're with your boys. You're all from the same area. Of course you're going to rep that area because obviously you've got other people from somewhere else that want to try and make you feel like you're even more worthless than the teachers that are making you. As you said, Ras said it very clearly, yeah. Most of the people you're fighting against yourself. Yeah, it's terrible. Like, it is the most, if we sat down with most guys like we're doing now, yeah, we actually realize how similar we are. And until we become a community of black brothers and black sisters trying to push each other together, it's not going to work. And
do you know, I've got a quick story to touch on those postcode wars. So my mum doesn't even know.
Come to the mic, but go for it.
My mum doesn't even know this, yeah? But I've got a quick story to touch on, yeah? That's why you come back in a sec, yeah? So basically, was it 2007, I think, yeah? I was in East Ham, okay? Right. And I was in East Ham, and I was outside the McDonald's. So I've come outside. I've seen one of my mate's cousin. He's talking to a group of boys, right? And they want to fight him because he's gone and spoke to someone's sister, right? And the guy didn't like it. Cool. I've gone over there and I've smoothed it over. Everything was cool. Yeah. Then someone ran up behind me, yeah, and I kid you not, it was a little kid. He must have been about 12 or 13, yeah? The guy came up to my ankle, like literally, that's how small he was, yeah? He stabbed me in the back, yeah, and he kept running. But I didn't know I got stabbed. I actually did not know I got stabbed. Then somehow, this whole scenario that I managed to calm down escalated again. At the time, these boys were called the Portuguese Mafia. So what's happened is that my mates come outside and said, well, like, you're bleeding. I'm like, what do you mean I'm bleeding? And the next thing you know, someone threw a punch and then, you know, it's all gone. So we've had to keep it moving, right? So had to get out of there. Got taken to the hospital. They stitched me up, whatever. I went to my house, got a change of clothes, saw my mum. I sensed that she knew something was going on, okay? But I kept it from her. So this is the first time I'm even talking about it. So if you see this, mum, right. But anyway, sorry, where was I? So so that following Friday, yeah, gone down there with the team, yeah. And remember, like we just left high school and whatnot. Do you know what I mean? So we've gone down there with the team. No, we were in college these times, didn't it? I was in college and uni, innit? Yeah. So I was 18. Yeah. So yeah. No, I was about 17 actually.
No, I was 18. I was living
anyway.
It was definitely 18.
Right. Well, pretty sure I was 17. But all right, cool. All right. So anyway, yeah. Cut a long story short. So it's like back then, like you said. So these guys are talking wicked all week. Like, oh yeah, them boys from IG1 come down and we just couldn't have that. So a whole load of IG1 boys went down there and we sorted them boys out, ironed them right out. Right. But the thing is, I'd been stabbed. So it was and where like Aaron said, yeah, when something like that happens, yeah, the news will travel fast, especially in the hood. The news will travel fast. So it's like almost instant. So on that same week that they stabbed me, we managed to go back and iron them all out. Do you know what I mean? But that was what the cycle was like. And then imagine this, a couple of years later, their leader, so one of the guys that was actually there, we bumped into each other at the train station and we was all going to carnival. And he come up to me and he said to me, oh, do you know what? Bro, like, how are you? I hope you've been fine. Do you mind if I come to carnival with you? And I was totally like, huh? I remember you was there, we was all there. I was totally like, what? I was mind blown. Yeah, and this guy just done a stretch in jail. I think he was in jail for like 3 years. So when he walked up to me, he was like this, and I was like, "Oi, I have a little problem in my hands today." You know what I mean? But like, you know, it was just all love, and for him to see me after all those years, and obviously after whatever happened, and for us to like, you know, just like call it a day. That was a beautiful thing.
That was good.
That was a good thing.
That's see, when I talk about gangs, right? That's a very good example. We had the beef, it got squashed, game over. He's still here. He could have died, yeah. But then there's other scenarios. Now, a lot of people talk about postcodes, right? Now, I don't really talk about this a lot, but my older brother, he's 6 years older than me, and his closest friend, as close as me and Kevin are, right? Yeah. Ends up getting stabbed by, was it 4 guys?
Yeah.
4 guys, all from the same area, right? And I'll tell you why. So, as I said with ownership, a lot of us tend to be IG1 against SK or E15 against that. It got so bad when I was growing up in Ilford that people from different roads wanted to kill each other. Like, actual want to kill each other. And it got to a point where they're setting each other up. And this is my, he was like my big bro, yeah? And they set him up. They're all in prison now. They'll probably get out soon. And they took his life over something where he wasn't even the guy that did it. And it was just, I remember, I'm gonna say something, and I haven't told anyone this.
It's a talkwood for a reason. Everything comes out, so bring it.
Yeah, no, listen. So a week before he got killed, he came to my house because I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff with him. And we're sitting in the car, and he's got a back seat. He's got a small car. He's got a hatchback, so it's only got 2 seats, like a little 2 seats, and it's covered with like blankets. Same. He opens it up, the blanket. There is every automatic weapon and handgun that you probably could imagine, and I'm thinking, okay, what's your goal here, bro? And you know, he said to me, he goes, "We need to take over our town. Like, we need to take it over. We need to run it." I said, "I don't give up." Like, I was like, wait a minute. I'm from Ilford already. I've been battling for Ilford. I'm not gonna go need to fight guys from my own ends for something where you're not even involved like that. And a week later, he was gone. And that right there was a very clear example of someone not feeling that they had any other options. Because how can he get to a position where he thinks the only way he's gonna continue his life is that he needs to go, not just tool up, I'm talking get the weaponry, yeah, and go to war in your own area. Like his parents live there, all of his friends are from the same area. I'm sure they all went to the same school. And that is the reason, because they felt they had no ownership. They felt like, I need to be the guy. When all that really mattered, yeah, they could have just, like what happened, just been like, listen, this is long, innit? Someone's going to end up dead, someone's going to end up in prison. And that's happened. So until people start really having a bit of ownership within their own community, having their own people, we're going to still keep fighting over the dumbest shit. Sorry to swear, but...
No, it's I swear all the time, babe, you know that.
That's the absolute truth.
That's the truth. It's the truth.
So the idea, like, when you think about it, like, obviously our communities have broken down, and I'm saying "are" as in, like, I'm in one at the moment, but like still they're broken down in so many different ways. And obviously the situation that we've got now, I don't personally know what COVID is doing to the young kids of today, and I'm sure you guys can fill me in, but the sense of community is the most important thing in these gangs, in these vibes, and it's belonging, and it's being part of something. And that's been taken away in every area. And the only thing that can bring that back, like you were saying, is either the music or the sports, and kind of bringing people together. But do you, like, what is happening at the moment on the streets? What is going on in terms of COVID for the last year? Has it improved things because people aren't out on the streets? Has it caused more problems? What is
you know most people don't read the news when you're on the road, you know that, right?
Well, neither do I, to be fair.
No, I think the worst. Go on, Ras. Go on. I'll let you go, Ras. Because COVID's brought out the worst.
Yeah, what do you think, Ras? What do you think? Do you think COVID's made it worse?
I think there's two sides to it, innit? I think right now there's gonna be a build up in it. Yeah, everyone's inside building up. So if there's not something put in place when the place opens up, you might see a split out of energy. But cause man them ain't as active on the road, like compared to the time we was doing D-walks, man ain't getting phone calls as regular of stabbing. You get me?
So it has definitely decreased.
Yeah, I think it's decreased, but I think everyone's getting frustrated sitting inside at the same time, cuz. So it's like letting out hungry dogs.
Yeah, wild animals.
In time, you get me? Man are winding up each other online as well. The online foolishness from these blog pages that like to stir the beef. You know what I'm saying? Tion, why did you go for Heady? Heady, why did you go for Tion? You lot stay out of it and tell the man to go and win now, man. You're winning now, man. Go win, man. Ignore each other. You get on the next plane. You know what I'm saying? You man are bigger than that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I understand it because obviously them man are seeing man can't, but the way they responded, I think it was good. Because you can't turn your back on man. Like
what, on the plane? You're talking about on the plane?
Yeah. But on a situation where a man comes to approach you, imagine someone approach man's definitely gonna be there. You get me? Obviously, if someone trying to hold me back, I ain't pushing too much forward. But if you come over here, I got you though, because that's survival. That's the first rule of self-preservation is survival. So if it's not a case where man see him and say, you know what, I'm gonna get on the next plane. Once you're actually there and you see each other, the best thing to do is face off till man disperse and go back your ways. You know what I'm saying? But they're gonna be a face off.
You know what, Ras?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest, yeah. Under like age of 23, 24, 25, that is the
Come
answer
forward
I think
to the
we
mic,
should be
babe.
taking. Yeah, under the ages of 23, 24, that should be the action that most people are taking. But what you don't realize is that these Tion Waynes are not the heady one. Yeah, they might be from the roads, yeah, but there's young kids who are genuinely aspiring to be like that Donny. And them man should not be, especially in the Arab Emirates, yeah, fighting. Because I've got Donnies who've had a gram of residue of weed that got locked up for 1.5 years. Yeah, so I felt, yeah, you're on mute, but I felt that they should have been wise, because these guys are essentially the black leaders of our scene because they got the penetration. These men are acting crazy. That's not good for us. That's not good for all of us.
Bro, I agree with that, but I'm saying, man, them know if them man wanted to get popping, it would have been a Mazda. It would have been an on the, we would have been hearing about a murder on the plane and man them also. So I feel like from coming with putting some understanding where man them come from, and just think about the situation where you're seeing someone come at you. Like, and remember, it's real. Like North London is sticky. It's real deaths. You know what I'm saying? And then mocking in the songs, and so there's all that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying that I think on one hand, if they just let the other one slump them, yeah. Like say if they did just say, "Alright, cool, I'm gonna chill," because it takes both sides. If both sides say calm, then it's calm. But if you got someone coming at you level, you know you have to square up. You don't have a choice. First,
so I've got a question, Ras. I've got a question. Imagine, obviously, everyone's at home right now. Yeah, and this is just a pure idea. It could be absolute crap, and I'm just going to chuck it out and see what you think. But everyone's at home right now, accessible. What I mean by accessible is online. Yeah, they're all there. They're all online. There's a way to create a community, an online community, while everyone's sat in front of their TVs, their phones, their PlayStations, whatever it is. And can there not be, obviously this is never going to come from a government, this is never going to come from a council, but is there a way where you can round everyone up while they're at home and educate them and communicate with them and get them to learn how to communicate while they're at home doing nothing? Because we're on this lockdown for a very long period of time. we're like, there's no denying that we're saying, oh, furloughs until April and we've only got a month's worth of lockdown. I call bullshit on that. We know this is going on till April. Is there not something that can be done that can be programmed, which I've said to you boys before with A&N level, that for me, I know how to communicate. It was one of my strongest things, is learning how to communicate. But we have to know how people really feel in order to get them to communicate. These people need to learn how to feel first and foremost. Yeah. Is there a way that you guys could collectively get everyone to come together to watch things online that will help them to understand one another while they're separate, while we've got this scenario, while they can't go anywhere near each other? Like, thank God for Boris is one thing, that these guys are separate at the moment.
It's not immediate.
Is that a way, or could that work in a way?
It's about creating the content that speaks to the roads at the same time.
Yeah.
At the same time, speaking to the roads. It's like I want to do during this lockdown. I want to get everyone to find every song and every kind of speech where gang members have told the man to squash the beef. And I want to.
Sorry, say that again. Where the gang members have told them what?
I told people to squash the beef, or told the youths to lay down their weapons, because I feel like that needs to be compiled into one piece.
Yeah.
These countries have to see everyone you look up to agrees on this part for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think the addition of that and the linking with these individuals, because for me, it's not about, sometimes it's hard to get the big artists because they got so many people coming at them for different reasons. But every big artist has got his brethren with 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers, earthy guy in the community, active, and you know what I'm saying? So it's about getting that guy. And then that guy can tell his brethren, yo, this is what's going on. Everyone's pushing this message. I think that's gonna take some time. It's something that I've had in my head for about 4 or 5 years. But even when I first thought of it, like, I didn't know Akala, I didn't know Jaja Souls, I didn't know any people. But I was like, yo, if we could link up all of these men on one message, it would be powerful. Like, now I know a lot of these guys, you know what I'm saying? Just from the work that I've done. And even like from the G Walks to Forever Family, like that's what us in the position. And I've never used it. Even with Forever Family, I've never gone to the Carl or Jaja or told them to scream it. Because when I do ask for, because you know, you ask for something, for me, I don't like asking for nothing in life from no one. You know what I'm saying? So if I do ask for something, I want to make sure it's valuable. So even I know Jama, D Double, all of these man, I've never said to D Double, share my song. I don't want man to share my song. When it's time and there's a message for the youths about stopping violence, I'm gonna call D Double, I'm gonna call Jama, I'm gonna call Cash, I'm gonna call, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking the same day that they had the Battle of Trafalgar. So Trafalgar was when Tommy called the lads down and they all came down, all the racists
football lads.
Yeah, and all the gangs came down as well, and that was the day when the gangs united. Man that had beef, man that hadn't in 10 years was hugging on that day. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the different OGs from the different ends was the people that said to go down there. R.I.P. Fox. So that was actually the birth of Forever Family, because after that, we saw that when we went down there, the youths were just running after the hooligans. They're using hooligan tactics. So they're calling us monkeys, and then they're running that way, and then they're coming to attack us from the other side. But the man that we was with, they didn't know that. The gang man, they don't know hooligan. They don't go to football matches and have fights where man cool man on this side and come out on that side. They don't do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Man just see man, and it's that on site. You know? On site all over the place. So
go on.
That's why we create. No, I was going to say that's why we created the security team, so that there's 50 brothers and sisters that know formation, that train with each other. That if anything like that was to happen again, they could control the masses and protect and safeguard the people.
So, imagine, like, what would you need? Look, you're all three really intelligent guys, and I'm certain that there's way more intelligence behind you as well in terms of your groups and who you're with. As like, imagine this was going out to a number of different, and it is, you know, once I've got this audio and the visuals and everything going out, imagine this is going out to as many people as you can, and you've got all these different brands that are partnering, and that everyone's kind of coming for the same goal as a talk, where it's about being real, having an awkward conversation. What do you guys need in order to be able to facilitate proper change in a way that would last, where you get everyone together online? What would you need? Would you need a specific amount of artists? Would you need a specific amount of money? Would you need to use businesses to be able to help you get the word out? What would you need to create an event online that could make the most substantial change while we're in this really, because as fucked up as this situation is, and I'm sorry for swearing, but as screwed up as this situation is that we have in COVID, for me, the hardest times of my life is where I've looked at how bad it is, and I'm like, right, how do I get out of this? What good can I get from this? So I want to take as much good as I can from this shit situation that we've got called COVID and a lockdown, which is actually a lockup. But I want to see what we can do in this period of silence that changes the game, because I do worry about when people come out, if they manage to make it out of this really depressing time that we've got, what is the world going to look like? Because the thing is, you've got really powerful positions and you're really energetically aligned with what you believe in, but right now we have a system that is designing itself around us in order for us not to thrive. And there's many things that are going to fail. So you're looking at job losses, you're looking at even tougher situations on the street than you had. I feel like if everyone comes out of a lockdown and the world's in some kind of financial crash, if the people are crashing as well as the economy, we're going to be in for an even shitter situation.
Yep.
So what do you need in order to be able to get everyone together? And I want you to make a list while you're thinking about it.
Do you know what? Yeah. Okay, just I think I understand your question, and I think it's a bit like the other question you asked as well about what are these kids doing during this lockdown. So first of all, these kids aren't sitting at home. Okay, that's one. They're either in the studio making their diss tracks, or they're on the street and they're seeing each other, and that's why I think one of you said that the crime rate has gone down recently. It's soaring. Because they're catching each other daily now. Daily. So, first of all, we need, like, say, an event. Something that's going to draw them in. So, I don't know, maybe we're going to use an artist, a comedian or whatever. Something just to draw them in. Okay? Then, it needs to get we need to sort of have a system where it's not just one thing that's drawing them in. We have multiple avenues. Okay? So, like we said earlier, the music, the sports, the, higher learning, whatever. Okay, so we need to have like a body of things that will attract these youths, things that they actually want to do. Okay, and then I don't know, maybe cram it into an app. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what? Events to bring them together at first, but because we've got the COVID, we can't make these events happen. And like I said, we've got people like Ras putting the safeguards in. So like, yeah, okay, let's get 50 members of Forever Family Security down there. So to make sure that everyone gets searched once they get into the building. This is happening. There's this workshop, that workshop. This person's performing. You can have a little go at doing this. But the thing is, these things have to be so glamorized to the fact that when you go there, you get. It's not you're gonna go there and have to wait a couple months down the road to get a phone call from someone to say, "Yeah, right, you've been accepted." No, well, we are accepting you, but we need to have first of all, we need to have the corporations and businesses that are willing to facilitate and help these kids. So I don't know, whoever owns a computer shop or game store or something, or you know, a dance studio, you know, where they can set up a class or something for the kids for an hour every Tuesday, and the kids can come down, maybe pay £3 or something. Do you know what I mean? Because right now, if the adults ain't making the money, the kids ain't got no money. And you know what the kids are going to be on?
Yeah.
You all know what the kids are on right now, because they ain't got no money. So they're going to be hitting those streets, baby. And you know what I'm saying? Some people are going to get hurt. This is what's happening. They're active right this second. So it's about really having something so powerful, so beautiful. Like when we done the reparations march for Forever Family, like Raspect said, we glamorized it so much that we had North, East, South, and West London there, and out of London, and people from out of the country coming. Now that is something like a bike storms. Kids from all over the earth are coming. Right, that is something that we need. Something that's glamorized, but not everybody is on it. It's going to show the same thing. But the thing is, where one kid follows, another kid might follow. You're not going to save them all, but it's just about getting them to follow.
I think, you know what? I'm happy you said that, because as soon as you said it to Ras, said to Lebs, and as soon as you said it, the idea was very apparent, right? Right now, kids, gang members love ownership. We love to win. It is what it is, okay? So if you are from a particular area or you're from London, why not? Okay, I'll give you a good analogy, right? So I don't know if anyone lives with anyone does a house share. It is very hard to keep loads of people in the same house, keep tidying the house up, because one person does this, one person does that. So recently, do you know what we said? We said, you've got 7 days to do your area of the house. And when you do it, you get a point, okay? The person who's going to be the leader at the end of that month is going to get paid or something by the rest of the team. We need to make that for London and all the surrounding counties. We need to find something which encourages kids to do good, whether it's training online, whether it's singing, whether it's artists, whether it's even finding knives and putting a knife in the amnesty bin. We need to look at all the industries, find out what kids love, and encourage them to do things which gives them some sort of credits, which allows them to use it when we come out of lockdown. That right there, everyone's got a smartphone. We can partner with all of the biggest DJs and artists to be the main ambassadors, and then they tell all their followers, okay? Now, what he just said there is kind of the process I had 12 weeks ago. I'll talk about this because this is something that's going to take a little bit longer than launching an app tomorrow and getting people to play games. But I work in the music industry, and the music industry is dead. I realized that loads of music industry people just kept running illegal raves, making the industry look even worse, delaying us coming back. Why don't the music industry come together as a whole, not defected or this label or that label, no, the whole scene, and do something which raises money for the rest of the people who haven't been looked after. We are going to launch the Hero Games this year. And the Hero Games is very simple. Music artists do competition against each other, and they raise funds to help every single person who's been left out and hasn't had any support. I think that's the long-term goal, but the short-term goal needs to be quick competitions within sectors that encourages kids to do good rather than doing bad.
No, I agree. And this is, you know, and I said to you a couple of years ago, I had this download, is the only way I can call it without sounding like a crazy person. It literally, this information just fell into my mind, and it was about this global game. And it was literally a set of challenges that would happen. I was thinking I was going to do a breakfast show. So it's a breakfast show every morning and every day for the whole year. And I was going to dedicate my year in the mornings, which was a really bad idea, but I'm happy to dedicate the evening. The morning, down. But I remember thinking to myself, imagine if everyone was focused on the same thing. And every household, you could put it en masse. And this is why I've got the TV channel launching in a couple of weeks. It's like having that access to as many places as possible and having challenges every week where every single person is working on the same thing. So it's a solidarity between the task. And the next week you go on, and the next week. But in those tasks, you're cleaning up and improving your life and improving your communication and going on. And you literally are moving forward collectively with the same energy, with the same mentality, with the same respect, with the same love, with the same understanding. And you unite in the fact, even if you can't go outside, which is pretty slim moving forward, even if you can't go outside, there's housework to do. There's self-work to do. There's understanding your attitude of like Ras said earlier when he walked outside, you know, it's up to you whether you go what or whether you go, oh, you're right, how you doing? Like your attitude creates your environment. Regardless of who you are, your environment is not your problem. You are. And I had to learn that the hard way because I had to take responsibility and was like, oh, no one wants to take that medicine. It feels horrible. But once my attitude changed, so did my life.
Everything else changed, isn't it?
And that's the radical responsibility, is owning your own bullshit, not blaming someone else for it, and being willing to take that crap that you don't like and show other people what that is. Because when you can own it and you show somebody else, then they can also take that responsibility too, because they're not the only one feeling vulnerable or like odd or awkward about it. And this is the idea of the Talkwards, is like there's so much out there that we feel uncomfortable about talking about. We lie about everything. If you say, oh yeah, I can't come out tonight, mate, sorry about that. Oh yeah, you, because your mom wants you to stay in, rather than just saying, don't really feel like it tonight, thanks. We lie about the most smallest things. And for me, I just think that as we're building this and as we're growing, if we can put something together that changes the game literally while we can't go outside, I feel like that's the only hope that we have. Because otherwise we're going to go out and it's going to be like an apocalypse in 3 months' time.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We need online communities challenging each other for positivity. And that will spurn that when we do come out of lockdown, that there's communities offline that will happily continue that energy into the real life. But I will be completely honest, Nat, the wider scope, unfortunately, is the main narrative of just life. You know, adverts, TVs, newspapers, just things like, you could pick up a game. This might sound crazy. You could pick up a game right now. You won't really see inclusion of all people. You could go pick up a newspaper or turn on the adverts. Until complete inclusion comes and makes people feel like they actually are a part of society.
Yeah, we need to do it ourselves, because you couldn't rely on today's media to include everyone.
No, you can't. But unfortunately, until that narrative changes, kids, young people will see it and feel excluded and just stay in their lane, which they think they're supposed to stay in. And that lane normally gets you dead, killed, or in prison, or you
totally agree.
Yeah, or you commit suicide.
Yeah, I get that. Well, look, this is the idea of a Talkward, and there's many more to come. I don't know where Ras has gone. He's probably gone to the toilet or to make toast or something. But
he's a busy guy.
Yeah, he's probably got a phone call.
I wanted to say thank you so much for you guys coming on and just literally coming on and being honest, because this is all it is. It's not like a full interview. It's just a talk in front of other people so people can understand the mentality of what's going on. I want people to get it.
In his hand.
Because, there you go. Hi. Yeah. Welcome back, Russ.
You're
on mute, by the way.
Are you signing out? Now? Did
you go make toast?
Just the 1, 2 in the background. Trust me. But
Russ, what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, like genuinely, what if you could do something? Yeah, tomorrow to change the outlook of certain gangs and gangs being around. What would you do?
You know what?
It could be anything. Like,
I don't think it's something that could happen overnight.
No. I'm talking. You had like magical abilities, like you could enforce something. What do you think could make that change?
I'd get like all of the like influential people, so Giggs, RA, so that's Petnam and Brixton, both respected from their ends. You know what I'm saying? There's one of them in every end. Some of them have got 10,000 followers, like Stanner, General from Leighton. Like there's find all of these guys, every single one of them, and some form of media push, which shows all of these guys on one agenda, wanting to see the youngers not making the same mistakes they have, so they're not burying their brethren. Yeah, so your son doesn't have to bury his brethren, and I don't have to be getting VOs to see their brethren in jail. And what we need to do is we need to take away this mentality that we can't do it. See, the thing is, the problem is that what people don't understand is that we've been mentally defeated. That's why we. So, for example, you know, like a big brother. You know, when a little brother gets stronger, but mentally he don't think he can beat up his big brother, so he always loses. But physically he's stronger now, and he could actually do damage. when you go, I've been from every end. I've been in every gang. Like, I know everyone, and I've had this conversation with man all over. And there's two types of guys, yeah? There's a rare guy like us who are saying, yo, we can change whatever, change ourselves and have an influence, save one and the job is done. And we believe in the fact that we can make positive changes in the world. You know what I'm saying? And then there's the man that will say, yo, it'll be good, yeah, but them man over there won't want it to happen. Then you go to them man over there, and them man are talking about them man over there. So then you go to them man over there, and them man are talking about. So we've all got an imaginary man that doesn't want to see the children live better than we did. But he's imagining it only exists in our head. And I feel like once we get that confidence, if collectively tomorrow, yeah, every man that comes from the lifestyle says we can change it and we go to influence it, it will change. And if collectively tomorrow we collectively say, oh, I don't think we can change it, then it will never change. Yeah. So the single thought, be the change that you want to see in the world, and understand that that single thought that we have will rub off on other people, and that will lead to that collective thought. And if we could have that collective message out there from north, east, south, and west, and it was marketed properly, speak to man, like that's where A comes involved, and it has an element of something to do with fighting and artist, the music artist and fighting. Those two elements, and the roses involved. What? Two men are swinging it out. Yeah, well, I want to see that, cuz. So, like, add all of those elements, and I feel like that's how you have
that's something to glamorize. I agree with you. That's something to glamorize.
I think that if that's why we have the uniforms and that, I think if 50 man in uniform rode Chili Chad back in the day, I think we would have all been like, yo, these and what, they're fighters like Kevin. Their man was in MMA rocking out people. Because that's what we respect. We respect strength. That's why I respected them man from young. Because no one couldn't walk over them. So for me, I was with them man, then they would rush us as the youngest. You get me? I used to be the youngest. All the other youngest used to run away. I used to stay.
Yeah, he never ran away.
I'll get man in the back and keep it moving. Like that was, but it was fun. You get me? But yeah, I feel like so that fighting element. That's a lot of the youths on the road. They need the discipline from martial arts. Yeah, the media element. That's artillery. Do you know what I'm saying? And all I can try and do on the community level is bring the collectives from the community to come through and be hands on the ground to get involved. But I think that collectively, all of those little stuff in one mission to send a message to the next generation, and maybe bring some people on board who can provide on-site opportunities, driving licenses, apprenticeships into electrician, into becoming an electrician and plumbers.
It's got to be straight away now. It has to be straight away. Like I said earlier, as soon as they come, it's got to be there for them. None of this waiting around.
Yeah.
None of this waiting around.
The thing that I think about it is like, I look, and you know, I said to you very early before, because I think the first time when we were speaking, it was around the whole Black Lives Matter thing, and I was just like, how can I use my white privilege to help you guys in a way? Like, as fucked up as that sounds, because a lot of people would be like, oh, it's not about that, and it's like, actually, I know that I've got a really good chance to go and talk to people in my network and have those conversations that sometimes you guys said you wouldn't be able to go and do, and I'm like, how can I leverage what it is I have got to be able to go to companies and to be able to say, I've got these projects that could actually make it safer for everyone, and I can do it. And it really got me thinking, and it was a different mindset, because I'd not thought about it like that before, and I'd not thought how I could help, because I didn't even know I was connected in a way that could make a change, because I felt helpless, because I was told it was white versus black, and what was a white person going to do to help anybody that's black? You know, what the hell do you know? And when I was talking to you, I was like, I want to do more. I want to be able to help. I want to be able to act. But the media tells black people and white people two different stories. One is that no one's going to be here to help you, and the other one is like, you should not help them. And it's this difference. And I feel like we need to change that narrative. And it's not about black versus white. It's about, I've got a heart. Does it beat? Yeah, same as yours. Brilliant. We're both humans. Let's do that.
I said to Raspect the other day, we was at a funeral, unfortunately, and I said that exact same thing. I said, when we do what we do, I will happily use all of my contacts, all of my skills to write that news story and sell that news story that morning. So no dickhead on any news article can take it and write their own narrative. We can do that. We can fight the fire before the fire comes. And in that way, when it goes to the press in the morning and they see, oh, what's going on there? No, it will be a very, very clear description of what we're doing and how we're helping, rather than someone, oh, all these people dressed the same doing this. No, we will tell you what we was doing, and it was all for
Yeah.
positivity. And until we can do that, unfortunately, it will actually fall down because people love to chat shit about what
we need to
we all
create,
think that
and
shit.
this is what I'm doing with I Am Sound. It's creating a media platform that speaks for itself. And this is what I want to do very differently. But, you know, I need guys.
The family could use that. That's what we definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And I need guys like you that can tell me what the problems are so I can facilitate how I can help, because we walk around feeling like we're helpless and like there's nothing that we can do. And I'm not just talking about white people, I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
We aren't given solutions in the media. We're literally told a situation and that we should be careful, or we see it and it's glamorized as if it's like gang wars or whatever. But we're not given solutions. Why are we not given solutions? It's because I don't believe, and I'd be honest with this, and I'm not trying to incite any anger, but I don't believe the powers that be want a solution.
Yeah, of course they do.
If they did, they would have done it a long time ago. So for that reason and that reason alone is like, if you don't want a solution, there is an agenda. Now, I'm not going to go on a conspiracy tip because I'm not interested in doing that today, but there is an agenda that isn't designed for us to thrive. So we have to create a new agenda. But that means going at it from a completely different perspective, coming at it from a case of peace, not about fighting. I know you're obviously saying that's what kind of the kind of energy around fighting, but
no, Jenny, it's all about peace.
Do this.
It's all about peace.
It's all about peace. We would have to go on the biggest love movement we've ever been on, ever, that literally changed the game. And when people say, oh, we're fighting against them, we're not fighting against anyone. Like you said earlier, we're fighting against ourselves. If we choose to fight, we're fighting against ourselves. If we choose to hold our head up and walk in a different way, that's sovereignty.
Yeah. And that's why now I just think we're in a good position, especially with Forever Family, because it's a whole movement made out of love. Like there's a Forever Family in Scotland, there's a Forever Family all over the UK, North East, and it's all love. There's nothing to do with postcode wars, nothing to do with you done this and that. You know, it's nothing like that. Everyone's on the same agenda. The same agenda where we're trying to make the world a better place. We're trying to look out for people. We're trying to create opportunities and jobs for people. Ras has done really well putting the family together with the reparation marks and everything. And like we said, when we all came down in our uniforms and everything, everyone respected it. It was so peaceful, you know, and then the tabloids were saying we was wearing bulletproof vests, stab-proof vests or whatever. And,
so is this when you were walking through was it Brixton?
Yeah, we was walking through Brixton, yeah.
And it had the black uniforms with the thing.
The Forever Family.
Because I didn't know.
Right there, Ras, if you could show her.
Yeah, I didn't know this is the bit. I didn't know that that's what that was. I read the headlines because I got it sent, and it was positioned in amongst COVID, like it was going to be it was like Antifa, and I'm like, hey, that's scary to look at. Yeah. And this is the wrong color.
See what I'm saying?
Forever Family, yo.
Wow.
Yeah, forever.
Wow! I did not know.
That was us.
It was black people marching because we'd had no money from any sort of slave ownership, whereas the owners of the slave owners of the plantation were still getting paid.
Yeah, up until last year, really.
What is this? I think it was 216. Ras, you probably know the exact number. What was it, Ras? 216?
Yeah, 216 still.
Yeah.
Even in March, only because a week before that there was a media blackout and we had racists with homemade bombs with 50p's inside, acid, fireworks, bottles, flinging at innocent men, women, and children that came to a peaceful protest in Trafalgar. That's what happened prior to that. Yeah. So and then I got all the death threats. You know what I'm saying? Because all the racist guys wanted to kill me because anytime they did come in, they got stamped out. So when we was going out on the 1st of August, would you expect us to go out and so if someone does try and shoot us up, would you expect us to do? Because the police couldn't help us on the Trafalgar. They was letting them through, mate. So we're going to defend ourselves to the best of our ability, mate. With the best part hurt anyone. The best never punched anyone, it never stabbed anyone. No one ever died from someone wearing a vest. Even they made these vests, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, they're wearing vests. The vests are going to kill us, aren't they? Like, they're like, what's going on? Like, someone wears a vest to protect themselves. And then the other thing is, they like to talk about, there's knife crime in that community. There's knife crime in that community. Well, then maybe that's why we're wearing the vest.
Yeah.
Knife crime on the other side. We're gonna.
You might get stuff, but then white guys, when you go back to the ends,
it's crazy.
Yeah, no,
I didn't know that was the thing, and that's just blowing my mind. But it's also giving me an idea of something else.
That's the reason that. So that's what I'm saying. So even if we do what we're doing, we can do that, but we need to make sure that we hit the narrative and we put that story out there correctly. Because if we don't, once again, someone in Huddersfield who's never seen a black person in their life will open up the paper and be like, oh my God, I am not going to London. Look at those people there. When what we're doing
did you just say Huddersfield's never seen a black person in their life?
I never know.
That was a really bad place to choose that sentence from.
Everyone who was terrified was far-right racists. Tommy Robinson, Britain First, Nigel Farage, they was all terrified. All the white people from Clapham, it was like, we loved it. It was like, I felt so protected. I've never felt so protected in my life. Right? Because at the end of the day, no one when police will stand back because there's not enough of them. Yeah, there's never been a time when we've seen any confrontation of anyone and we haven't get involved. So the roads is safest when we're on the roads. I just want the people out there to know. When you see us, when you see Double Left Force, that's when the roads is the safest. I
can shout for that. Can I make a suggestion? Ras, this is directly to you. Next time you choose a uniform, can I help you with a bit of like color incentive? Because black might not have been the best choice you ever made, but I understand why you made it. But maybe you just need a little, like, you know, smiley face on the front that might have just completely changed the narrative so they could say anything.
Do you want your smiley face? Is that what you're saying?
Either that one or choose another one. But I'm just saying, I just think, can you imagine if you'd have all worn like rainbow vests?
You might have hit the nail on the head here. Trust me. We might need to make it a global, you know.
I just think if I can get you vests and they've got smiley face on them, will you wear it?
Well, no, when we was first doing the vest, people were saying we should just wear very different answers. But what we came down to the thing is the target audience is the youth in the gangs and them little 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds coming up. So if there's 50 of us walking through that estate, Angel Town, it's Greasy estate where man are getting stabbed every day. We gotta kind of have a look that demands respect. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's the best. I guess because of that, we got the other side, but the other side will see because the good thing is when they done the bad press, everyone came to blame to see what these militia are doing. So all the racists started following us, and all they've seen is us collecting clothes for the homeless and doing that. So they must have been very disappointed in the end because they must have thought they was going to see some, yes, and we go, right. And
one's there.
War cry or something because I'm announcing some race war.
To be fair, if you'd have probably worn if I'd have probably said just put a little rainbow or something on here, they'd have gone like the old LGBTQ. Your argument would have been gone. So I get it. Well, look, I want to end it there because I just think it's enough for tonight. But we're going to have you guys back. There's loads of more of conversations we can have. This is just a start of bringing ideas together because I know in our network there's so much that we can do. And I just think that we're trying to create something powerful, but we need people to understand why and not just think there's still a separation. It's about coming together. It's about showing up, taking responsibility, ownership, and not letting the powers that be have the control that they want to have.
Listen, now I truly want to thank you for realizing to take your own time to speak to people on topics like this. There's a lot of people that don't want to talk about it. They know it's there, but they don't want to talk about it. For me, that's just the same as bad as it's being ignorant. You got to realize there's a problem so you can try and help. So thank you for setting up this interview. Big up Ras.
No problem.
Yeah, big up Ras all day. Said I've known this guy since. I'm
going to get you a hoodie.
When I hear him talk now, it's incredible to see that we've all come from the exact same school. And we're all legends and kings in what we do in a very, very respected way. In a very, very respected way.
For a place called Kings as well.
Yeah, 7 Kings, that you mean?
Right now, bitch. Yeah.
You've been amazing.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. And you guys have been amazing. I just want to say before we go, tomorrow I have another conversation about life beyond the bars. It's from a friend of mine that got locked up for a long period of time, but he's got some really cool stories to tell. If you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. You can do the Nat Rich one or the I Am Sound one. I would appreciate the support. You can also get our app in the App Store. So you can go to the iPhone, the iStore or the Google Play Store and just type in I Am Sound Radio. And then in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our Roku app. So it's going to be on the TV. So on a smart TV, you'll be able to get all of the shows that we're doing, plus a whole host of other content. And I think that is it. Have I got anything else on my list? No, that's it.
Perfect. Lovely speaking to you, Nat.
You too.
I'll speak to you soon.
Lovely to speak to you. Thanks for everyone tuning in.
Hold tight, everyone locked in as well. Yeah.
You got everyone watching.
Take it easy.
Yeah, one.
Thank you. Bye, guys.